Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're just going to wait a few more minutes for everybody to jump on.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello. All right. Why don't we wait? We'll wait until 7:03 and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Hi, Lauren. I'm at Town Hall. I have youth action team happening here at the same time. So I'm kind of wearing two hats,
No worries. Thank you.
but I'm listening.
Sounds good. All right, it's 7:04. I'm calling this meeting of the Wakefield Youth Council to order. I know we don't have a lot of people here. It's a very busy time of year, and a lot of people told me that they had conflicts, which is totally okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take attendance. Yana is not able to make it. Ali is here. Thomas, Nick, Paige, Josh, Sophie, Ellie, Jenna,
here,
Nick,
here,
Tegan. I know that Madeline and Charlotte are both in DC, the 8th grade. I know Paige can't make it. Matt, Bella, Juliana, Megan, and Marie. All right, so we're pretty low on attendance, but that's okay. So is there anybody here from the public wishing to speak? Not seeing anyone. We're gonna skip the approval of the minutes because I don't think I asked at the last meeting for anybody to write them. Does anybody remember me doing that?
I thought you asked Paige Arkenstall, or I thought she
Maybe I
volunteered.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll be in touch with her about that. It just like totally slipped my mind to follow up on that. So we'll do that at our next meeting. Thank you. So next on the agenda, I have the recreation department update. So Nick, we had the focus group. I don't think you were able to make the last meeting, but I think Catherine was maybe going to follow up with you on some next steps for that. So do you have an update for us on that?
No, I don't, because I wasn't here last meeting, so I didn't know what happened or the results of the focus group.
Okay. Ali, do you think you could give Nick an update on the focus group since you were the note taker?
Yeah, so the focus group went really well. So we asked a bunch of questions, and we took some big takeaways from it. Like generally, the students were really adamant that it is a lot more convenient to just leave their trash behind, and they did say that more bins and more signage would help them. But they also said that they don't really understand how much work the DPW actually puts into it and how expensive it is to run these facilities. And they talked about having an assembly to really like put these issues on focus with trusted adults at the school. So those were the major takeaways of it.
Great, thank you. So Ali, if you wouldn't mind maybe sending those notes that you took to Nick, and then Nick, maybe you can send those to Mr. McGrath at the recreation department and see kind of what next steps he thinks would be helpful. Does that sound good?
Yeah, I'll do that right after this meeting.
Yeah, I can.
Ollie, did you talk about the presentation that Mr. Klatcher and Mr.
So-
Cedrone are going to do?
Yeah, so me and Madeline, we created a short presentation for them to do based on what the students said about having an assembly. So yeah, we prepared that short presentation for them to do, talking about how much work the DPW puts in, how important it is to take care of the fields, because no one wants them to be taken away from us, because it's a privilege that we need to respect. So I think that will be given at an assembly shortly, right?
Great, thanks.
Yeah, I think the plan is for that to happen before school gets out for both the 7th graders and the 8th graders. So that's the plan. So nice job on that presentation that you and Madeline came up with for them. And I know the 8th graders, most of them are in DC right now, but yeah, and Jenna and Nick, if you see Mr. Klatcher or Mr. Cedrone and can mention it to them, that would be great, because I know at the end of the year is busy, but there are times when the whole grade is together.
Awesome. So, okay, so for next steps, Ali, you'll send the notes to Nick, and then we can kind of start talking about like what that assembly will look like with those adults.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Nick, are you on board with that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool. All right. Anything else about the recreation department? Does anybody else have any questions about that or anything? All right. So next, Ali, if you could give us an update on the communications and outreach subcommittee.
Okay, so so some of the major things that the communication and outreach subcommittee is currently working on is, so we've decided how we're gonna move forward with the Meet the Members posts. So we're going to post the seniors posts for Meet the Members, like to congratulate them on their service to the youth council, and also talk a little bit about and also like show where they're going to be going to college. So we plan on doing that with our current seniors, and then next term, that's when we'll be doing the rest of the council Meet the Members posts. So, and then there isn't really much else that the communications outreach subcommittee has been doing. Recently, we've been working on like our social media updates and also the courts and fields. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions for Ali about the outreach or anything? I think we did a really awesome job, and Ali, like kudos to you for the outreach for the applications, because I'm going to talk about that next, but we had a pretty good number of people apply for the next term, which is really exciting. So yeah. All right. Anything else about the communications and outreach subcommittee? All right. So I kind of segued into this, but for the new member applications, so we have them all in for the past 2 days. And tomorrow I've been doing some interviews. They're really low key. I just asked a few questions just so I can get a feel for the person, their interests, and just make sure that they understand the commitment of the youth council. So I've been doing that. So I have one left to do tomorrow, and then one to schedule for either tomorrow or this weekend. But they've all gone really well. I'm really getting a good feeling that it's an awesome group. So just for some numbers, so we have a total of 11 applicants. There's 6 new applicants and 5 returning. There's 1 8th grader, 2 incoming. So there's 1 incoming 8th grader, 2 incoming 9th graders, 3 incoming 10th graders, 4 incoming 11th graders, and 1 incoming 12th grader. So I feel like it's a really great breakdown. And like I said, everybody seems really interested in it, really dedicated. So I'm really excited to see what everybody's going to do. So like I said, the interviews have gone well. And Mr. Trines, am I correct in that the town council will do the appointments on the next meeting on Monday, the 13th?
That's right. Yeah. So I think I don't know if you're able to be there, Lauren, but what we did last year was Jack kind of came to the meeting and sort of presented their recommendations based on the interviews that the selection committee last year did, and then we'll make a motion and vote on that.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I am hoping that I'll be able to be there, and also just to kind of give a recap of the work we've done this term, just to tie it all together. So I will be doing that. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Okay, so one thing that I did want to discuss with everybody, because I really want everybody to be involved in this, so we have non-voting and voting member positions. Do we think that that is something that we want to keep, or do we want to make everybody a voting member? I'm not sure the details that go into this with how the structure of the youth council is and like how the numbers would be. Mr. Trines, I don't know if you have any insight into that.
Yeah. So just some context around that. So the non-voting member concept came up last year when we had more applicants than the number of positions on the youth council. And I know everyone, both kind of, the seniors who had kind of done the interviews as well as the folks on the town council felt like it was just a really strong applicant pool. And so we didn't want to turn anyone away that kind of raised their hand and kind of volunteered to do this. So that was when we came up with the concept of the non-voting members as basically sort of like an expansion valve if you had more applicants than voting positions. It's entirely up to sort of what you guys want to recommend, but my suggestion would be if to fill the voting positions first. I think that there's, if you have people that you feel comfortable with who applied, who, made the effort to step up and go through the process, it absolutely makes sense for them to be kind of given voting positions, I think. But again, that's just my suggestion. It's ultimately, I think, for the youth council to discuss in terms of what you'd want to recommend on Monday.
Yeah, thank you for your guidance on that. So I think that that's a good plan, just to kind of fill the voting positions first and then see where we stand. Is everybody comfortable with that? I just want to make sure that everybody is good with that. Okay, awesome. So I'll definitely work on that. I'm going to finalize the list and the letter for the town council, and those will be approved on their meeting on Monday, June 13th. Awesome. Anything else about applications or anything?
Just one other thing. So it sounded like there were maybe some sort of unfilled spots among the middle school seats. Is that right, Lauren?
Yes.
So we did run into that last year as well. What we did was we did a second call for applications. Basically, when school started in the fall, we kind of figured, summer's a tough time for people to be paying attention. And so, that's something, again, we can kind of talk through with the town council on Monday. But, if we wanted to kind of open up a second round just to fill the remaining voting spots, particularly, at the middle school, given it sounded like we had a smaller number of applicants there, we can certainly talk through that as well.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a really good plan.
The only other thought I had, Lauren, was I know you and Yana are out of school and Nick. I was just wondering, maybe there would be an opportunity to go around to some of the 6th and 7th grade class, social studies classrooms and kind of, I don't know, we'd have to look at their schedule, but sometimes it's downtime towards the end of the year. And that could be an option as well. We could reach out to the middle school social studies teachers. So just because I know our orientation in July is really when a lot happens, when people decide on their liaison positions, people get to know each other. So it might be hard for the middle schoolers to join. It was a little hard, I know, for the few that did join partway through. So I don't know. What do people think?
I like that idea of going around to the 6th and 7th grade classrooms. I think that would be like a little bit easier and better. I think it's a good idea to going forward.
Any other thoughts on that? I also think it's a really great idea because I feel like it's one thing to kind of see it on Instagram or on Facebook, but it's another thing to really talk about it and talk about what we do in our role on this council.
Yeah. I was just going to say the other thing is even if you don't have kind of an application process, you could always invite people who might be interested to that orientation in July. I mean, that certainly doesn't need to be limited only to the people that get appointed on Monday. And so that might be another way for, folks maybe that were thinking about it and missed the deadline or weren't sure if it was for them. It might be another way for them to just, kind of try it out and understand what it's about.
Absolutely. That's a great idea. Anything else?
It looked like there was a thumbs up from Catherine there.
Yeah, she approves.
I have to say, I have with the youth action team, they're really loud in the next room. They're planning, and so I have to keep muting it. But yeah, I think that is a great idea, Mr. Chines, because it is the orientation can really kind of get people excited about the possibilities. And every youth council is different, takes on new activities and initiatives. So good, I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, and another thing that I noticed in the interviews, which I'm really excited about, is that everybody had very different interests, which I think will be really, really great for our group or for your group. All right. Anything else?
And then the other thing too is we have Anthony Amatucci, who used to serve as the Youth Council Communications Chair, is now in working for Town Hall in the summer. So he's available on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he's doing some of the work to get the orientation set up. So he could be another person that we loop in on this.
For sure. Anthony's the best. If nobody knows him, he's so amazing at everything he does. Great. All right. So definitely if you can tune into the meeting on Monday, but if you can't, I'll definitely give an update through email or at our next meeting. All right. So I didn't put this on the agenda because I totally forgot about it, but does anybody have any liaison updates? Ollie and Jenna, how did the school committee meeting go? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I think that me and Jenna gave a really great presentation to them. They were very receptive to what we were saying, and they asked some great questions at the end. I don't remember exactly all the questions that they asked, but I know that one of them was how we're going to I believe they asked us how we're going to take forward the results with the focus group. And I talked a little bit about doing the assembly and more bins, more signage, and the other takeaways that we got. And they also asked about maybe trying to do a little bit more outreach towards elementary schools during our next term, because we hadn't really put a lot of communications toward that. And we said that that would be a great thing to look into for next term to try to do a little bit more outreach with the elementary schools.
Great, thank you. Jenna, do you have anything you want to add to that from the presentation?
No, I think Ollie covered it mostly, but yeah, again, it was really good. I think were very receptive to what we had to say in all of our updates.
Awesome. And that's what I love about liaison positions too, is that I feel like it's really great practice for public speaking and making connections with adults. And I feel like this is a really great example of that.
And if I could just add, I did watch that school committee meeting, and Jenna and Ali, you both did an excellent job. I mean, you were both incredibly articulate in terms of how you presented. The way that you responded to the questions was really thoughtful. So really just fantastic job. I mean, you two couldn't have represented the Youth Council any better than you did at that meeting. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was so well put together, and you could really see the time and the effort, and also the dedication that you have to this group. And it was really nice to see. So thank you for both doing that. All right. Any other liaison updates? Not seeing any. All right. So just this is a very quick meeting. So for our next meeting, if we're sticking to our usual schedule, it will be Tuesday, the 21st at 7 p.m. Does that, I know it's a very small group, but does that work for everybody on here? Maybe, yes. All right.
Yeah,
So
we can try to get notice out early and to make sure we have good participation. Do you, is there any thought of doing it hybrid since it is the last meeting?
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Does everybody else? What are other thoughts? Cool. Thumbs up. Awesome.
And we can have
so
okay.
Yeah. Catherine, we can work on planning that. I think that would be really great because that will be our last meeting together. Awesome. So I'll be in touch about with more details about that as it gets closer, but definitely keep that on your calendars. All right. Anything else before we adjourn the meeting?
Can I just add a congratulations? I know our only senior here is Lauren, and we don't have Nick and Yana, but congratulations to all three of you. You three were some of the founding members here, and you've done a great job. And I think we'll all miss you having you kind of locally in Wakefield as you go on to the next thing. So congratulations to you. And also I know we have at least only two eighth graders on the call moving up, but Jenna and Nick, congrats to you guys as well. Exciting things to be kind of moving on.
I know, and even if people are cycling off after our last meeting, we still stay connected to a lot of our youth council members who serve a year and then often get involved in other things. So we connect to you that way. And I also want to say congratulations to Lauren for getting the Unsung Hero Award at the Senior Awards Night. And I cannot think of a better person. I did not know you were winning that until I saw your name come across, and I was so proud to see that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it was such a nice night. I feel like everybody that got an award was so deserving of it. It was just so amazing to see my peers recognized, and it was very well deserved. So thank you both. All right. Anything else? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you. All right. This is going to be a little tricky because we're missing a lot of people. Ali?
Yes.
Sophie?
Yes.
Jenna?
Yes.
And Nick?
Yes.
Awesome. So that passes unanimously. So I will be in touch about our hybrid meeting and our last meeting on the 21st. All right. Thank you all for being here. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.